Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. So glad you could be here. So I'm gonna kind of continue on from my first video, which was an introduction into me and into how I first got into traveling with my daughter. I'm just gonna continue on with kind of what happened after our first family holiday, and if you haven't watched that video, you can go back and watch that before you watch this one, or you can go back and watch it after. It'll just give you a little insight into kind of what happened before this trip and how I got there. What happened is, after a family holiday to Magaluf, myself, my daughter, my friend and her child, we just went for 5 days, a really good, amazing trip, and I made a connection out there who was also from London. So yeah, that was obviously unexpected, but it was actually really nice to have someone that I could kind of click with, and we obviously continued to talk after that holiday. He worked in one of the bars out there, and obviously shared that he was living out there. He had a housemate, and he did like seasonal work. So I think he was there for 6 months, kind of like over the holiday period, doing his work, and then he would come back to London, spend time with his family. So that was really interesting to get to kind of hear about that. It was something I didn't really know much about and had never really heard of. Well, I hadn't really travelled really, so it was kind of interesting to get to hear about that and how that kind of worked. And obviously towards the end of my holiday, whilst we were talking, he invited me to come back on my own for like a week, or it was either 7 or 10 days, just to kind of spend some time in Magaluf and see what it was like. Obviously for him, he was living there, essentially out living and working there, and he had a housemate who was also a DJ. So he invited me to come back. So if you've watched my first video, you will know that I was absolutely terrified of heights, terrified of flying. Never been on a plane before from what I could remember. Even if I'd gone in childhood, it wasn't something I could remember. So having done that for the first time with my daughter, I then realised, after agreeing to go back, that I'm going to have to do that flight on my own. So yeah, I didn't really think about that at the time. I was just like, yeah, that's cool, I'll come back. Had to do this flight by myself as a nervous flyer, basically. Petrified of heights, knowing that I'm off the ground, having the window seat is the worst. So yeah, I had all of these things kind of just like rolling up, and I think the only thing that got me through it this second time, because I didn't have my daughter to keep me occupied, was that I'm going to be meeting someone on the other end. It's going to be okay. You know, I'm going to have a nice holiday. I'm going to have some time on my own, child-free time. It's going to be okay. So I got through it. Got to the other end. Spent some time with my friend out there. And you know, it was actually really interesting. Obviously, I was on my own and child-free, so it meant that I got to kind of go out and experience Magaluf in a way that I didn't when, you know, you've got your kids with you. So I was able to kind of go to the strip, obviously seeing people getting drunk, kind of taking it all in. Never really had that type of holiday before on my own, so yeah, that was really, really good. And then it was actually quite nice to get to go and see where my friend's housemate was working, so he was like DJing and stuff, and his partner was also there as well, so it was quite nice actually. Like I wasn't on my own. I had some like girly time, like we were able to go out and just like have chats and drinks and things like that whilst my friend was working. Obviously her boyfriend was working, so that was actually really cool to be able to do that and have that time, but actually also see how kind of like I didn't really know what seasonal work was, but being able to not just travel but travel and work, and so what I learned through talking to my friend was that he would kind of spend maybe like 6 months at home in London with his family, getting to work. Obviously he'd work when he'd come home, or he'll just spend that time with his family, and then he would travel to, I think, different countries as well. So from my memory, he had spent some time in Thailand, kind of like 6 to 8 months working out there. Obviously when I met him, he was working in Spain, in Magaluf, and he was just kind of talking to me about how moving around and like that type of seasonal work allowed him to travel to different places. So actually I thought that was quite interesting, because I'd never really met anyone who had done that, and for myself, obviously up until then, it was, you know, the typical route of go to school, go to university, you get your job, people have their holidays, you save up, you know, you go away, you come home. So it was I guess maybe like my introduction into a different style of life. Like it wasn't for me, like he was talking to me about it and how like if I did it with my daughter, she'd be multilingual, and things like that. But obviously I'd never really done anything or heard of anything like that, and especially doing it with like a 3-year-old does a bit like, yeah, I don't know if that's for me. But I think it did spark something. Obviously it sparked like a love of travel and like just finding new ways, going to different countries and experiencing new things, that, you know, has obviously followed after. And like now I am a well-seasoned traveller, even making it part of my lifestyle. But that was like my first little dip into meeting someone who was doing something different, and like working, going away, working, going away, and being able to do that. So it kind of like I had this fear of not just obviously flying and of heights, but leaving the UK, I guess, in general. And those experiences, you know, like a family holiday opened up that door. I made a connection, and then I got to go and do a trip on my own, and just spend some time with people doing things different. Kind of dipped my toe into a different type of lifestyle. So those like experiences are amazing. Obviously a lifetime things that I'm gonna, you know, remember. I still remember doing it. It made an impact on my life, and obviously it created like the path, I guess, for me taking my daughter and traveling with my daughter after that. And obviously the next time we went away was on our own. So it has spurred off, and funnily enough, like those first 2 trips, obviously we're both in Magaluf. Like I could have ended up going somewhere else or doing something different, but for me it was really quite impactful that I went with my daughter, and I was able to make those memories and share that with her and my friend. And then I was able to go back, and then I was able to create kind of those memories for myself in the same place. But yeah, definitely gave me the travel bug after that. I really enjoyed some child-free time, going out, getting to see like music, listening to music, getting a little bit drunk, all the good stuff that you do when you go to Magaluf. I definitely met some crazy people out there. And yes, it's going to be something that, you know, I'm going to remember for life. So dipping your toe into traveling may seem scary, but I feel like when you do it and you push past those fears, it will either make you realise, okay, no, this is not for me, I'm not going to be doing that again, or you could absolutely love it and then end up travelling full-time, part-time, seasonal, with your kids, without your kids, solo travel. So yeah. Coming up on the channel later will obviously be more trips and tricks, and how I've been able to, after those 2 initial holidays that I had, kind of was able to then create, it was kind of more like a tradition. You know, for me and my daughter, we would always try and have our holiday yearly, which, like I've mentioned before, was never really, as a single parent, kind of at uni and all the rest of it, wasn't really the top of my list. Like, it wasn't a priority, but it became one. It became our yearly tradition of going away, going to a new country, or just spending that quality time away from day-to-day life, and making sure that that was something that I did with my child as long as it was possible, and creating those memories. And you know, that is kind of a tradition that still carries on now, like through the generations, which is something that I absolutely love. So obviously, not only is it part of my now 10-year-old's lifestyle, he's been able to travel the world and world school, which I will be sharing more about. We've also been able to create memories for my daughter, and now my granddaughter, you know, has had her first trips already, and she's been to like 2 different countries. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So I'll be opening up my world about how I've been able to do that, the types of different travelling that we've done. There'll be like coach trips, so not everything has to be by plane, train, rail, and sea as well. So many different ways to travel, so many different ways to get to places, and so many different ways to find, you know, bargains if you don't want to be spending thousands and thousands of pounds, unless that's what you want to do. So yeah, I'm really excited to be sharing how you can do that, letting you into my world a little bit more. And if you guys can like and subscribe, you'll know when I upload a new video, and you should also be able to click up there and watch my first video if you haven't watched it already. So yeah, I will talk to you guys soon, and I will be uploading and sharing another video about how I've been able to travel and create memories with my children. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.